Okay, thanks for being my audience today, guys. That's really nice of you.
Anytime.
So you looked over the website and everything, and you
Yeah.
gave me some questions. So that's kind of what we're gonna go over today. What did you think about the website as a whole?
I thought it was really cool. You structured it in a really cool way.
Oh,
It's
thanks.
really well organized.
Oh,
You had
thanks.
information about
Oh,
everything.
nice. Yeah, Peru's a really fun country. I'm glad I got it, and it's a really fun. It's a fun class. You get to learn to do a lot. Okay, but so before I answer your guys' questions you guys had, I'm going to tell you about my development dollar, and it's on my website. I don't know if you remember seeing that. Me with the dollars. So on the first day of class, Brother Wilson, my teacher, he gave everyone in the class $1, and he said that we needed to find a way to use it to benefit our country, our adopted country. So mine will be Peru, but it also has to benefit ourselves. And so this was actually really hard because, you think of organizations you could donate money to, but, are they really giving the full amount? And how is that benefiting me? And so I thought about it a lot this semester. And something that I came up with is to give it, put it towards my tithing. Because there's a temple being built right now in Peru. And I still haven't found out exactly how to get that money to go specifically to Peru into that temple building, but I'm still trying and hopefully can figure it out. And so I think that could benefit the country because a temple, another one, they already have one in Lima, and they're constructing a new one right now. And I think that could be really good just for those members who may not be able to have the means to travel all the way to Lima, which is the country's capital, by the way. And so it can be really good for those members in the surrounding areas to be able to do that temple work for the dead and, be able to feel that peace that you get at the temple. Because we're so blessed we have a temple, right here in Rexburg. And then how it can benefit me. A lot of people think when they pay their tithing, and this is something Brother Wilson kind of explained to me that I hadn't really thought about before, but when people pay their tithing, they just kind of pay it. And they know it goes to a good cause or where it needs to go. You trust the church with where they're going to take your money, but you don't know where it's really going. And so I think that this is cool because if I am able to get my dollar to go specifically to the building of Peru's temple, then I know where it's going, and I know that I'm going to be blessing the lives of people I've been studying all semester, and that would just be so rewarding to me. And it has already, even though I haven't been able to fully find a way to get that dollar there, I've kind of, I'll Google construction of the Peru temple, and I'm a lot more interested in it because I know that some of my means are going to be going to help them. And so that is where I'm hoping to send my development dollar. Okay, so questions. So I have them here just in case you forgot them. So I think we're going to start with Katie. So Katie,
Yes.
one of your questions were, so when you said Peru is ranked 31 in internet use, is it overall or is it just, or are there things specifically that they're using the internet for? So what were you really wanting to know?
So kind of what I was thinking with that is I know in specific places people use the internet a lot more for businesses or recreation or gaming and stuff. So I was just wondering, Peru specifically, what do they use their internet for, or is it kind of an overall thing?
Yeah, that was a good question. Good job, Katie. So just a little background, I bet that's where you got your question from. They have 9.15 million internet users, and the population in Peru is approximately 30 million, so it's 1/3. And I looked it up, and internet users, the main sites that they're going to, the popular ones, are Google sites, Microsoft, Yahoo, Facebook, Vivo. So they're ones we use. I know I go to all those sites a lot, and I thought that was interesting, especially Facebook. It just shows how globalized our world is becoming and how, we're all kind of getting more connected and using the same things. So does that answer that question a little bit?
That's what I was thinking.
Thank you. Okay, and then you asked where the 5 airports are located in Peru. And the 5 airports I talked about are the international ones, so flights going between countries. And I got a map for you guys because I have the cities, but I didn't know if it would make much sense to you because you might not know where they are. So here's our map of Peru. And there is one, the international is in Lima, and that's where I said their capital was.
So it is like in the bigger.
Yeah, it's in the bigger cities, the international ones, and then they have one in Cusco. I remember Emperor's New Groove. It's Cusco, named after that, and it's in Peru. So Peru or Lima, Cusco, and then there's one up here, Flora. I'm really bad at Spanish, but hopefully, maybe you guys can help me out. And then this one isn't on here, but Iquitos is in this like region.
Okay.
Right there. And then Arequipa.
Right here.
Yep, perfect. So, and those are like in the bigger cities right there. Yep. So, there's where the bigger airports are in Peru. Okay. So your next question, you said you would follow the well-known volleyball player, but why would you want to follow them? Do you like volleyball? Yes.
Oh.
I played volleyball in high school and I loved it, and I loved this woman in Peru who was a famous volleyball player, and she's also part of their councils, and she's in Congress, and I think that's really cool. She like did both, she's not only athletic and cool that way, but she also got the brains, so has the brains. So I thought that was cool. And then, is volleyball a big sport in Peru? Yes, it's the second most popular sport.
Wow.
What do you guys think the first will be?
Soccer.
Yep,
Yeah.
got it. Soccer is their most popular sport. But volleyball takes second place. That's pretty good. Okay, and then your last question was just kind of advice on how to fix my graph. And I did that.
Oh,
so
okay.
Thank you for that. That's awesome. Okay, Anna. Do they allow missionaries in Peru? Yes, they do. They have 9 missions currently in Peru. So there's a lot, and I didn't know that until I looked it up on the church website. So that's really cool. They have a lot. So a lot of missionaries over there, doing the work. So good. Probably why they're constructing another temple.
Probably.
So that was a good question. Thanks. And then, how many humanitarian aid are they receiving or how much humanitarian aid are they receiving from the United States? And I couldn't find this answer specifically, but in 2012 I got this from the Global Humanitarian Assistance website, and they received $0.7 million in humanitarian aid. So I think that's just as a whole. I don't think that was the U.S. specifically, but they are receiving some humanitarian aid, which is really good. And that was just in 1 year, so that was really cool. So is that okay?
Yeah.
You didn't get it? Okay.
Yeah.
And then, are there a lot of job opportunities in Peru? Yeah, I was doing my research, and the unemployment rate in Peru is 3.6, and that's really not too bad if you think about the U.S. We're like at a 7.3. I think Peru is ranked like 29 in lowest unemployment rate, which is really good.
Yeah.
So I think they have jobs. I don't know if they're the best jobs. Their poverty levels are still not where they should be. So I don't know. But there are jobs available, which is good. And then, and their labor force is 16 million. So that's about a little over half of their population in whole. Your next question, what kind of health care do they provide? So yes, they do have hospitals. They have a 24/7 medical emergency clinics, all over.
Just like we have here.
Mm-hmm. So it's pretty similar to here. I know a large chunk of all their hospitals and emergency places are in the bigger cities. The indigenous or rural areas aren't getting as much health care, which is really sad. There's some inequalities there. But there are hospitals like we have here today in our country. And then your last question: do all areas of the country have access to fresh water? And the answer is sadly no. They do not. Not even in the more urbanized areas do they have 100%. If I remember right, I think the access to fresh water in the urban areas is around 80-85%. And then the rural areas are more around 62%. So they definitely have enough rainfall, Peru. But it's just, how sanitary and the way of getting it isn't where it should be, which is
Not yet.
not yet, exactly. So thank you for your guys' questions. Those are really good questions, and I had fun. Some of them were on my website already, and I was lucky to kind of be able to go off those or kind of go off of that at least. And then the others I looked up and it was really cool. So thank you. Okay, so a few more things I just wanted to talk to you guys about is the future for Peru. You know, my Millennial Development Goals that were on my website. You know, these are from the UN, and it's coming to a close. You know, it started in the year 2000, and they were gonna spend 15 years on this, and it's 2014, so they're ending pretty soon. And I think the future for Peru looks really good. I don't know if you remember this, but in poverty in the early 2000s, the poverty level was a half of the population in Peru, and now it's only 1/4. So it's still not where it should be. You know, 25% isn't necessarily like wonderful, but it shows how much they are improving. Sorry. And so that's really good. Their healthcare is improving a lot, and so this is really helping like their infant mortality rates, and you know everything. You know, their lifespan is improving. You know, they're living longer, and this is because of like educating women, like kind of especially pregnant women, like how to take care of themselves during and after pregnancy, like after taking or how to care for their baby after it's born. And I think a lot of the problems in Peru are just people weren't educated and receiving those opportunities. But I think those opportunities are beginning to expand, and we're getting more. And so that's really good. And I think that's happening more and more with education. And like I mentioned, healthcare, so that's like infant mortality rates. And then, let's see, maternal health is improving also because of education. And so I think that, you know, we can expect positive results continuing throughout Peru. So it's good. We can be happy. And so also now, so globalization. This is on my website right here. You guys remember looking at this?
Yes.
So do you guys know what globalization is?
What I understand about it is just like making it so the world as a whole is like kind of on the same level.
Like connecting with other countries.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So it says everyone's kind of getting closer. Like I watched this video on TED Talks. I like those a lot. And we watched them, and it just talked about how the world is flat almost. Like, you know, people are getting closer and more interconnected. And why do you think that is? You know, why are people being able to get each other's ideas, you know, from China all the way to the United States? Or how are people able to communicate so well?
We've just advanced a lot in like technology and stuff like that, so we're able to communicate a lot easier than we used to be.
Yeah.
And people are starting to speak each other's languages also, which helps along with technology.
For sure. I know, like, English is, like, a big, like, a requirement in a lot of schools, which is cool. I like to communicate with people in Spanish, you know. And so definitely, I think one of the biggest forces is just the improvement in technology and people being able to communicate with each other, like, through language. For sure. I think technology has been a really good thing in this sense, you know. There's been some negative effects of technology, but I think most of it is really positive, and I think globalization is happening more and more and getting so advanced because it's so easy to talk to other people, you know. I'm sure you could get online right now and find someone to Skype with, like, across the world. I know that one of my friends, Matthew, he can Skype with his mission companion, or his old mission companion in Peru. He lives in Peru, so that's funny. And he does that. And so how cool is that? Like, even, like, not that long ago, you know, we could not do that. And so I think this is a big advancement. And then just the internet, I guess that goes along kind of with technology. The internet is a cool thing. And I think we don't take advantage of it like we always should. You know, we're just on, like, Instagram, Facebook. But I think you can do some pretty cool things with the internet. And I think a lot of people are.
It's huge for the church, too. They can reach countries they've never been able to reach before.
I know, exactly. You know, I was talking about that the other day with someone. Just, like, how missionary efforts, like not that long ago, it seemed that it was impossible. Like, how is everyone going to be able to have a chance to hear the gospel, like, before the second coming? But with the internet, and, like, think of YouTube and how many views that can get in like an hour. Like stuff like that is just like it's making this possible. It's making
it's not so impossible anymore.
No. So I think that's really good. So you guys hit it right on the dot with the driving forces of globalization. Okay, so my website kind of focuses on those millennial development goals. So the UN, they had 8. And so now that the year 2015 is coming up, they're thinking of some new ones for 2015-2030. And so I have some right here, like the proposed sustainable development goals. So before we look at what they think, what do you guys would think would be some good ones? So during this time span, they had the poverty, tried to get rid of, the extreme poverty and hunger, tried to achieve primary education throughout, everywhere, universal, promote gender equality and women empowerment, reduce child mortality, improve maternal health, combat HIV and AIDS, malaria, other diseases, and then ensure environmental sustainability and develop global partnerships. So those are the ones that we had now. What do you think the new ones should be? Do you think that we did good enough with this? When you see like the world today, do you feel like they achieved these goals?
I would say it's like a work in progress.
Yeah, I don't feel like they're complete at all, but maybe like something that they could do in this next period is maybe to like just kind of specify it a little bit more and like kind of pick a few of them and kind of go into them in detail, maybe
Have an action plan or something.
Yeah. And work on them a little bit more, like because these things are still like an issue. I feel like they haven't become totally like cured or anything. So I think it'd be best to like look at them a little bit more and maybe go in more depth with them, so that they can like fix it.
And there definitely are organizations that are doing that with like education specifically. They go to different countries and they're doing everything they can. And what's cool about it is the organizations know that they can't like change the whole world, but at least they can change that community, and hopefully they can spread it to their kids and others.
And it will just kind of have a ripple effect.
Yeah,
definitely. Is that still going? Yes, it is. Okay, good. I was just making sure. Okay, no, I think you're right. Even with just my country, Peru, as I've studied them and researched them, I'm like, I don't know. They have not eradicated all poverty. We're still at 25%. And
but it's improved.
It has improved, yes, definitely. But I don't think all these have been met specifically. Now we're moving on to new ones. And these proposed ones right here, there's 17, and they have things like end poverty everywhere, and hunger, improve nutrition, and promote, so they are broad. And I think maybe it's just because they're proposed, they're not for sure. And I'm sure they would hopefully kind of make them more detailed and specific later on. But what I think, my perspective personally, is I think they need to make less. I think they need to focus, like for example, when you do New Year's resolutions and you because it's good to have a lot, and if they could do all these, that would be awesome. But when you make your huge list and you're so motivated, and then the next day you look at it and it's like so overwhelming, and then you or at least for me, I don't even do any of them. I'm just there's so many. It's so overwhelming. But if I remember last year I focused on 3. I had a spiritual one, a health one, and an education one. And only having 3 specific ones and making them really detailed, and I knew what I had to do. It was the first 3 New Year's resolutions I've ever kept. And I think that the UN could maybe, I think that would work for them too. Focusing on less and making it very specific of what they need to do would really help them.
Even more effort in those 3 goals instead of just half effort.
Because they have 8, so they have to split up all their resources in different areas. But if they only had 3, think of how many people they could get involved, so much money. I think. And then I think they would be achieved completely, and then they can move on to the next 3 and achieve those completely, and then keep doing that instead of making a little bit of progress, and then who knows if that progress sticks.
Going halfway.
So, anyways, that's what I think. Do you guys have anything you want to add?
I thought another goal. I mean, if we want to add to the big list, is just to try to improve the water in different countries, because that can have huge impact. Because you just can't live without water. Yeah, without water, you need clean water, fresh water. It's just a huge part of society.
And I think that could help a lot of others, you know.
Yeah.
A lot of other goals with the health, and you know, water is definitely a necessity. We definitely need it, and I know Peru, you know, isn't reaching that 100% that I wish they would or need to. One day they will. We're gonna be positive. So do you guys have any more questions about my website or about Peru or about globalization? You know, anything you guys want to say or learn through this?
I'm really impressed by it. There's a lot of really good information.
It was really insightful. It was a lot of fun. More than just your average class.
Yeah, now I know more than I ever knew.
So it's that's good. Well, I'm glad. Thanks again for being my audience. You guys are so great. So thank you so much. And hopefully we can do this again soon. Okay, thank you. You guys